Welcome back to the deep dive. With all the talk about different diets, low-fat Mediterranean keto, even all-meat carnivore, it's no wonder people are so confused about what a healthy lifestyle really even
I
is.
know, right?
So that's what made this Rich Roll podcast interview so interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It's with Dr. Dean Ornish and Ann Ornish. And you sent this to us. And we thought it'd be a perfect source to really unpack and kind of help us navigate this confusing world of what's healthy and what's not.
Yeah, and Dr. Ornish has been doing this for over 40 years, advocating for this sort of holistic approach to health.
Right.
And I think especially for someone like you who's clearly already engaged with this topic and thinking about these things, this will be a really interesting deep dive to do.
Well, let's jump into it. One of the things that I found really interesting right off the bat was Dr. Ornish's perspective on low-fat diets.
Yes.
We've all heard that they've kind of fallen out of favor.
Yeah.
But he kind of poses this question. Did low-fat diets actually fail? Or did we just never fully embrace them?
Yeah, that's a great question. And one that Dr. Ornish kind of tackles head on. I mean, it's not that eating low fat is inherently bad. It's more that as a society, we just didn't really adopt the recommendations. He cites data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture showing that despite being told to eat less fat, Americans actually increased their fat consumption over the past few decades.
Yeah, that's kind of a curious paradox, isn't it? If we're being told to eat less fat and we know that fat is not good for us, then why would we be eating more of it?
Well, and that's where I think things get really interesting, because Dr. Ornish points to the influence of the food industry and its marketing. Think about it. Processed foods, fast food convenience items, they're all laden with fat and they're heavily promoted. And it becomes this cultural norm, almost an addiction in some cases.
Yeah, so it's not just about individual willpower then. It's about having to navigate a system that makes unhealthy choices so readily available.
Right.
But what about the people who did try to cut fat? Did they just end up swapping it out for something else?
That's exactly what happened. When people reduce fat, they often filled the void with sugar. And as we know, excess sugar can be just as bad for your health, leading to its own cascade of issues like insulin resistance and inflammation.
This is a classic example of a well-intentioned effort gone awry.
Exactly.
It seems like Dr. Ornish is really pushing back against this idea of good food, bad food.
Absolutely.
This dichotomy that we often hear.
Yeah, he really emphasizes that it's not just about eliminating certain foods, but focusing on a holistic dietary pattern. He advocates for a whole foods, plant-based diet, low in both fat and sugar, and with a focus on fruits and vegetables, legumes, and whole grains.
So lots of colorful, vibrant foods packed with nutrients.
Exactly.
But wait a minute, hasn't there been this huge surge in popularity of these high-fat diets like keto and paleo?
Yeah.
How does Dr. Ornish address that?
Well, he certainly doesn't shy away from the debate. He acknowledges that some studies might suggest that there are some benefits to saturated fat. However, he argues that many of these studies can be flawed. He points out, for instance, that self-reported dietary intake can be inaccurate. And some studies might lump data together in a way that obscures the true impact of saturated fat.
So there's a lot of nuance that gets lost
Mm-hmm.
in those attention-grabbing headlines.
Right.
It sounds like context is really key.
Absolutely. And to illustrate his point, he cites a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine that actually showed images of arteries on different diets. And the results were striking.
Wow.
Arteries were clean on a whole food plant-based diet, partially clogged on a standard American diet,
Right.
and severely clogged on a high-fat, high-animal protein diet.
That's wild.
Yeah,
So even if you're losing weight on a high-fat diet, you could still be doing damage.
that's the concerning part. And it's not just about those long-term effects. Research even suggests that even a single high-fat meal can have immediate negative consequences, like reduced blood flow to the brain and heart.
Gosh, that's incredible. That really highlights how our bodies respond to what we eat in real time.
Right.
But where does cholesterol fit into all of this? There seems to be a lot of confusion around that as well.
Yeah, cholesterol is often demonized, but it's actually essential for a lot of our bodily functions. We need it for hormone production, nerve coverings, and more.
Okay.
Dr. Ornish clarifies that our bodies naturally produce all the cholesterol we need, meaning that the dietary requirement is actually zero.
So all that extra cholesterol from animal products we're consuming is just basically surplus.
Exactly. And his research has shown this direct link between dietary cholesterol intake and the severity of artery blockages.
So the more cholesterol you consume,
The more clogged your arteries become. It's a dose-dependent relationship.
that's kind of a sobering thought.
Yeah.
But what about animal protein itself? Is it the fat content, or is there something inherently problematic about the animal protein?
That's a great question, and one that Dr. Ornish really dives into. He argues that the real issue might not be solely the fat content, but the inflammatory nature of the animal protein itself. He points to research linking high animal protein intake to an increased risk of premature death from various causes, especially type 2 diabetes and certain cancers.
So this goes beyond just the fat and cholesterol that are often associated with animal products. It's about the protein itself potentially being this inflammatory agent.
That's the hypothesis, and it's backed by a growing body of research.
Wow.
And he highlights that plant-based protein is not only not harmful, but potentially protective. Plant foods are full of beneficial compounds, like phytochemicals and bioflavonoids.
Okay.
And these compounds have been linked to reduced risks of chronic diseases.
So it's not just about avoiding the bad stuff, but actively seeking out the good stuff. That can protect our health. And that ties back into what I thought was really interesting, Dr. Ornish's theory, that many chronic diseases, while they seem different, might actually be different expressions of the same underlying dysfunctions in the body.
That's right.
So what are some of those dysfunctions?
He points to chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, an overstimulated sympathetic nervous system, and changes in the gut microbiome. Essentially, these are all mechanisms that, when they're out of balance, can contribute to a wide range of health problems.
Wow. I have to ask, what about the protein myth? This idea that you can't get enough protein on a plant-based diet, that comes up all the time.
Yeah, it's a common concern.
Yeah.
But Dr. Ornish and Rich Roll actually have a little fun with this in the podcast.
Right.
They point out that large herbivores like elephants build incredible size and strength on a plant-based diet.
Okay, but elephants have very different digestive systems, right?
Yeah.
How does that translate to us?
Well, Rich Roll, as a plant-based ultra-endurance athlete, is a living testament to the fact that humans can absolutely thrive on a plant-based diet.
I mean, I guess so.
He emphasizes that all the essential amino acids our bodies need are available in the plant kingdom.
Yeah, you're right.
So
It's not about the quantity. It's about getting the right types of protein from diverse plant sources.
exactly. And if Rich Roll can perform at such a high level on a plant-based diet, it really challenges that protein myth, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's a pretty compelling argument. This interview covers so much, and it goes beyond just diet to explore these interconnected lifestyle factors. So I'm curious to hear what else Dr. Ornish has to say about stress management, exercise, and social support.
Yeah, that's where we'll pick up in part 2 of our deep dive into lifestyle medicine. Stay tuned. It's fascinating how we often kind of put these things in separate boxes, like diet, stress management, exercise, social support. But Dr. Ornish really emphasizes this synergy between them all. It's not just a checklist. It's really understanding how all of these elements work together to create well-being.
And that's what's so interesting to me is that we all know that we need to manage our stress. We know we need to move our bodies. We know we need to nurture our relationships. But actually putting those things into practice can be a whole other challenge. So what makes Dr. Ornish's perspective different?
Well, what's unique is that he actually backs up these lifestyle recommendations with decades of research. He's not just saying these things are good for you. He's actually showing how they can impact your health at a physiological level.
So there's real scientific evidence to support this mind-body connection that we always hear about.
Absolutely. And his research demonstrates that when you combine all of these elements, it creates this powerful synergistic effect.
That makes me think about those studies with the rabbits that he talked about, where the rabbits who were petted and played with had less artery blockage than the rabbits who were ignored, even though they were all on the same diet.
Yeah, that's a classic example of how our emotional and social well-being can directly impact our physical health.
Yeah, it really throws a wrench into that reductionist view of health.
Yeah.
That we often subscribe to.
Yeah, it's not just about what you eat, it's about how you live.
Right.
And he goes on to say that a lot of the unhealthy behaviors that we engage in, like overeating, smoking, excessive screen time, are often just attempts to numb ourselves and avoid dealing with emotions.
That's so true. It's like we're trying to fill a void.
Yeah.
But we're reaching for the wrong things.
Exactly.
So what's the alternative?
Well, Dr. Ornish and Ann Ornish proposed that the real antidote isn't another pill or some quick fix, but cultivating this deeper sense of connection with ourselves and with other people.
So it's about finding that sense of belonging and purpose that allows us to actually face those challenges in life.
With more resilience.
Exactly. And they talk about the importance of social support in community, especially when it comes to making these lifestyle changes. In fact, Ann Ornish was the one who developed the online platform and learning management system for the program, which include these online support groups. That's really interesting. So it's not just about attending a retreat or a workshop. It's about building a sustainable support system.
Right. These online groups allow people to connect with each other and continue that journey together, even after they've completed the initial program.
I can see how that would be beneficial.
Yeah.
Having a group of people who understand your struggles and can offer encouragement.
Exactly. And the research backs this up. There are numerous studies showing that people with strong social connections tend to be healthier and live longer than those who are isolated.
So I'm seeing how all these pieces fit together.
Mm-hmm.
The diet, the stress management, the exercise, the social support, they all create this positive feedback loop.
And that's a key part of Dr. Ornish's philosophy. He believes that true health is a result of this synergy between all of these different lifestyle factors. It's about addressing the whole person, not just treating symptoms.
It's so easy to get caught up in focusing on one specific nutrient or dietary rule. But we have to remember that our bodies are these complex systems that respond to so many different things.
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting is that Dr. Ornish even shares his own struggles with depression as a young man and how he actually found healing through this spiritual path.
It makes this whole conversation about lifestyle medicine so much more relatable.
And Ann Ornish is a big advocate for incorporating mindfulness and meditation into the program.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that our well-being isn't just physical, it's emotional and spiritual as well.
It makes me think about this idea of undoing it that they talked about. It's not just about reversing disease. It's about actually unwinding those patterns of thought and behavior that led us down that path in the first place.
Exactly. It's about becoming this active participant in your own healing, rather than just passively accepting a diagnosis.
You know, when we talk about taking control of our health, it can feel like this huge, overwhelming task. But what I'm hearing from Dr. Ornish and Ann Ornish is that it's not about making these drastic changes all at once. It's about approaching this with curiosity and experimentation.
That's a great way to put it. It's about making those gradual changes and seeing how your body responds, becoming more attuned to your own wisdom, and making choices that feel right for you.
That reminds me of something else they said about choosing not to eat certain foods as a way of imbuing those choices with meaning. It's not about deprivation or restriction. It's about making these conscious decisions that align with our values.
Absolutely.
And that sense of purpose can extend beyond just us. Dr. Ornish and Ann Ornish are both passionate advocates for this interconnectedness between our health and the health of the planet.
That's right.
They brought up some pretty sobering statistics about how livestock consumption contributes more to global warming than all forms of transportation combined.
It's a stark reminder that our everyday choices have these ripple effects. What we eat impacts not just our bodies, but the environment and other species as well.
That's a lot to think about, but it's also empowering to think that we can have a positive impact through those choices that we make.
And that brings us to a topic that I think is often shrouded in a lot of fear and misunderstanding: Alzheimer's disease.
It's a disease that touches so many lives. And Dr. Ornish spoke about losing his own mother to Alzheimer's. It's something he's clearly really passionate about.
Yeah, and it's not just a personal concern. It's a growing public health crisis. With the aging population, the number of people with Alzheimer's is just increasing dramatically, yet we still don't really have effective treatments to prevent or reverse it.
So where does lifestyle medicine fit into this?
Well, that's what's so exciting about Dr. Ornish's work right now. He believes that lifestyle changes could be the key to preventing and possibly even reversing Alzheimer's. He's actually leading this groundbreaking randomized trial to investigate the effects of his program on people in the early to moderate stages of the disease.
So the same program that's shown promise in reversing heart disease might also be effective for Alzheimer's.
That's the hypothesis. And it makes sense when you consider his unifying theory of disease. We've talked about how chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, all those other dysfunctions can contribute to a whole range of health problems. Well, those same mechanisms are also implicated in the development of Alzheimer's.
So by addressing the root causes through these lifestyle changes, it's possible to slow down or even reverse the progression of Alzheimer's.
That's what they're hoping to find out. And there's already some promising research. Studies like the Finger study and the Mind study have shown that even less intensive lifestyle interventions can have a positive impact on cognitive decline. So Dr. Ornish believes that a more comprehensive approach like his program could have an even greater effect.
That's pretty amazing to think that lifestyle interventions could be used for something as complex as Alzheimer's.
It speaks to the power of looking beyond just treating the symptoms and really getting to the root of the problem.
I'm curious, How does Dr. Ornish view medication in all of this? Obviously, he's a huge advocate for lifestyle changes. But does he see any place for pharmaceuticals?
He is very clear that he's not anti-medication. He recognizes that there are situations where drugs and surgery are necessary, especially in emergencies. He even mentions that some people might need medication temporarily while they're transitioning to a healthier lifestyle.
So it's not about rejecting conventional medicine. It's about finding a balance,
Right.
using all the tools we have available.
Exactly.
And he emphasizes that even if you are taking medication,
Yeah.
making lifestyle changes can often help you reduce your dosage or even eliminate the need for it completely.
It's really a message of hope for anyone who feels stuck on medication or overwhelmed by a diagnosis. It's about reclaiming your health and feeling empowered.
And it also highlights how important it is to have open communication with your doctor. If you're considering exploring these lifestyle changes,
Absolutely.
find practitioners who support your goals.
Yeah. Find a doctor who sees you as a partner in your health journey,
Exactly.
not just a patient.
And speaking of finding the right support, it's worth saying again what Dr. Ornish and Ann Ornish said about community. It's not just about individual effort. It's about connecting with others
Yeah.
who can offer encouragement and accountability.
Those support groups they have in their program are a great example of that.
Yeah, it's about remembering that we're not in this alone.
We're all in this together.
This deep dive has been so fascinating. It's not just about the science of health. It's about exploring those deeper aspects of well-being.
Yeah, and hopefully this gives everyone listening some food for thought as they continue on their own journey.
It's been a great reminder that we really do have more power than we realize to create a life that is vibrant, joyful, and meaningful for ourselves and for the world around us.
That's a great way to sum it up.
So as you continue your deep dive into a healthier and more fulfilling life, remember that you're not alone, and you have the power within you to make those changes.
And don't forget to have fun along the way.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep exploring those infinite possibilities.